So, this is what life really looks like being a top real estate agent working in Stockholm's inner city, what many agents call the Champions League of real estate in Sweden. After being in business for almost 5 years, I picked up a few lessons, things that I wish I would have known sooner because they would have made me a lot more successful a lot faster. Today, I'm going to share 3 things that I think might be of value for you.
Don't you know? Don't you know? I'm spending all my time just thinking about you. Laying days away just thinking about you. And I don't care.
So, lesson number 1, it's about lead generation. And honestly, to make things very, very simple, there are only 4 ways that you as a real estate agent can get more leads. And the first one, it's something that we all love as real estate agents, and that is cold outreach, which means making cold calls. Obviously, that is probably the least favorite of all of these 4, but that's simply what it means. You contact people, strangers that don't know that you exist. And second one we have is warm outreach. So that is much more nicer. It's people that already know that you exist. For example, people that have been attending your open showing, your open house. You call them after the showing and have a chit chat. It can also be people that are friends, family, etc. So this one is most usually more nice to do. And then we have the third one, which is paid ads. And that is really like you pay to get exposure. So for example, the most common one and the thing that I use, and I know that every single agent probably in Sweden uses, is flyers. So after each sale that you have, you send out flyers, to neighbors and people that live in the nearby area. So that is the third one. It's probably the most costly one, if you put it that way. And then we have the fourth one, which is I'm a big believer in, and that is social media, aka content. So what that really means is that you choose a platform, you expose yourself out there, and really getting people that are potential buyers, potential sellers to see who you are and becoming top of mind, and just them seeing you in their feed, basically. So those are really the 4 ways you can create leads. There's no rocket science, but I just know that if I would have known this day one as a real estate agent, just given, slapped in my face, it would have been so much more simple, because I know there are a lot of guys and girls out there watching this right now and are just wanting to get more leads. And I used to know myself, I used to look back, I just wish what's the magic formula to getting leads, right? So this is the closest thing to it. Knowing the 4 ways will get you ahead of many agents out there, and just picking one and going all in and on a weekly and daily basis, using it, because then you are going to get more leads, obviously. But this is a lesson that I wish I would have known a lot sooner, because that would have made me a lot more successful, a lot faster. So yeah, that's the first lesson. So the second lesson is actually something that is tied to the first lesson. And when it comes to leads, now you know in which ways you can create more leads for yourself. And I've been in this situation so many times where I just wish okay, I just wanna have more leads. I just need more leads in order to, sell more apartments, etc. Achieve the goals I have and those kind of things. And I know that plenty of you that are watching right now might be in that position. So then I think it's super important, when we now know which ways we can create more leads, I think it's super important. Okay, but how much of these 4 should we do? So it's actually not that too complicated, but I would like to apply something that I call the rule of 100. That is a concept that I've picked from another person that is super inspiring in my life. And so basically the rule of 100s is that you should do 100 like amounts of the things that you can. So for example, that might not sound a little bit complicated, but to make things very simple, so let's say we take cold outreach, the first ways to get leads, then you should do 100 calls, per day. And some of you will be like, 100 pickups, like that is a lot, and I know that, but there's something that is happening when you do things in the hundreds, like you are going to do more volume than your competitors. So that is actually such a great number. And when I've applied it for myself, as soon as I, basically kind of like, figure out the pieces of the puzzles for myself, I learned the ways you can create lead for yourself. And then I just applied the rule of hundreds to that and, saw incredible amounts of success. So let's say, take another example. Content, for example, it's something that is very close to my heart, and it's something that I do believe is the future of getting leads. I see a massive opportunity in content and the way you can use it as a real estate agent in order to get more leads and basically, getting high fees and selling more apartments and, getting the wheel of success up and running. But so let's go back to the content, and basically it's no more like harder than doing 100 minutes per day when it comes to content. So that could be, okay, let's say, I'm gonna spend 100 minutes per day in order to create content, engage with people, etc. So that is really the way I see it when it comes to content. So like 100 minutes a day, that is going to give you a lot of success. And then paid ads, for example, the rule that I apply for myself is that I should, reach 100 people per day when it comes to the flyers, meaning you should send out 700 flyers each week, which is a lot, and believe me, I know that. But that is why, I'm now going to shift into, what are some smart ways to, engage in all of these 4, so you're not just relying on one of them. For example, sending out 700 flyers each week, that is probably not going to make your boss that too happy. Because that is going to be a big expense. So that is why I really like to see it as like something that works together. So you could do, 20 cold outreach per day, you could do 20 warm outreach per day, you could do, let's say 80 minutes of content per day, etc. So now I think you get the point. And if I just look at myself, I try to do 50 cold outreach each day, and then I do probably more than 100 minutes a day for content. And then when it ties back to the flyers, I try to do at least, like 450 each week. So I know that just by the cold outreach and the paid ads, aka the flyers, I know that I'm going to reach 700 people each week. And to say the least, it has given me a lot of success. So I think that is somewhat super clear in what I do, and applying the rule of hundreds will skyrocket your success.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's whatever you want it to. And you want me to change, but I don't got nothing.
All right, So lesson number 3, and it actually ties back to lesson number 1 and lesson number 2. So now we know the 4 different ways to get leads. You also know how much volume you should do in order to get some kind of results. And now it actually comes down to the absolute most important one, and that is to be consistent. Because if you are someone out there now thinking about, okay, I know how I should get leads and like how many of each thing I should do, like you won't get any results if you just do it for like one day or like even 1 week, because you have to be consistent. And really like just having discipline and being disciplined enough to keep on doing it day in, day out, weeks, months, years. So I think this is such an important lesson, because I have witnessed and I have been a victim of this myself, that I'm going to explain right now. And that is because, or rather say, it's something that happens when you start doing. So let's say, from now, you will, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on when you're watching this, you will start implementing it, and you will do it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, even 1-2 weeks, and then you will see the results. And then you get, more leads, you get new listings, and then you sell more apartments. So everything is going up. But the biggest problem that actually happens here, and it's a big problem for every single real estate agent, and that is the fact that when you are on the high, there's so many people that stop doing the exact thing that just got them there. Meaning that you are on a high, you start selling a lot of apartments, you have new client meetings, you're like, yes, life is on top. But the big problem here is that you get a little bit fat and happy, and you get comfortable, and you stop doing the things that you should do, meaning the activities. So this is a very, very big problem, because if you stop the things that get you where you are today, then your leads and listings, etc., is just going to fall down, because you're really cutting the ties, or you're cutting the thing that actually are getting the results you're getting. So I think this is super important to be aware of. And me now have been worked for almost 5 years, having the experience I have, it's almost like it snapbacks. So I know I'm super aware of when I'm slacking and when I'm having too much and when life is too good. So I'm very aware of like, oh shit, like I didn't manage to do the activities today. Well, I was aware of that, and I'll double down the next day, for example. So I think it's super important, and I've seen it many times over and over again that, agents like they crack the code to, getting themselves where they want to be. But as soon as they are at the place where they want to be, they stop doing the activities that got them there. So this is a super important thing. And I think it's such an important lesson, especially when we have talked about the 4 ways to get leads. Well, I also talked about, how many of the things you should do in order to get some kind of leads. And just being consistent, I think it's super important. And yeah, like it might suck, to be honest. Like you might have 1 day, 2 days, even a week, 2 weeks, maybe you won't get any leads at all. And you just have to, keep on going. And I think it's actually in those kind of tough times, or like difficult times, where your discipline is like really on the test. I think, those moments are really like where the best get separated from the others, and the winners get separated from the losers, if you want to put it that way, just to make the whole thing very simple. And I think like the most important thing that you should take away from this kind of lesson is that you should like totally reframe your kind of like perspective of you being a winner or a loser. And there are too many out there that they only like focus on the outcomes, meaning that you get the listing, you sell the apartment, you get the lead. But the absolute best people that actually are being able to be consistent over such a longer period of time, they are actually tying their wins to their inputs. Meaning, did I do, the cold outreach? Did I post on LinkedIn, for example? Did I upload my YouTube video, etc.? So I think that is a strong message and a very important one that I just wanted to end this lesson with. So if you take anything from this lesson, is that you should really focus on your inputs rather than on the outputs. Because if you have 1 week, 2 weeks where you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, like, it doesn't matter if you get 1 lead or 10, like, you're doing the things that eventually will get you the results that you're looking for. So that is all for this one, and I've just shared a few lessons that have helped me a lot in my career, and I'm very certain they will help you a lot as well. It can be tough to be an agent, to be honest. Like, I've gone through hell myself, and 100% commission, it's tough. So I just hope, like, me sitting here speaking directly to you, that I can share a few lessons that will help you and make your life as an agent a lot more smooth. This is probably take 10 or something. So yeah, I'm really putting in a lot of effort into these videos, and I really hope that you find them valuable in some kind of way. And if you did, send it forward to a friend or something. I'm actually very, very curious about your thoughts, and if there are any particular question that you would like me to answer, or if you want me to talk about a certain topic, please let me know, and I will do my absolute best to try to answer it in the best possible way, and in a way that will give you as much success as possible. So yeah, that is all for this one, and see you in the next one.